One.
Here we go.
Okay.
So this is Art and Hustle, and today, Black Authors Matter. Let me make sure I add that. And this is Victor Dandridge.
That's right.
Nice to meet you, brother. Peace and
Absolute
blessings. How are
pleasure.
you?
Oh man, I'm fantastic. Feeling blessed. Feeling blessed.
Okay, so before we jump into this, I want the people to know who you
Yes.
are and what you do. Share that with.
Of course, I'm Victor Dandridge, lovingly called the hardest working man in comics. I am a self-publishing comic creator born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. It's possible that you have seen me at comic conventions all over the country. I am your friendly neighborhood moderator on stage with some of your favorite celebs, comic creators, talking about all things great and geeky. You might actually see me in the classroom with your kiddos where I'm teaching how to use comic books to boost literacy, entrepreneurship, expression, creativity, everything. Or you may just know me from my geeking brand, which is celebrating geek culture, becoming the dominant voice of pop culture. And of course, who's at the head of that? Black creatives, because we're always at the head of culture. We always make things fresh. That's what we do. So that's who I am. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
So, appreciate that. Now, what I want you to do, share a little bit about your comic books, the books
Of
that you
course.
have made personally. So then the people can, one, I want them to be able to go get your books, your
Absolutely.
comic books, but also tap into the rest of the stuff that you do, because most of us artists,
Yes.
we do this stuff as a young kid and don't know that we are becoming something that people actually can make money off of.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
don't know that our gifts can make room for us and put us before great men. This is what your just art has done for you.
Yes.
So share that.
Of
Share
course.
share a few of your comic books, but then we'll go into the rest in a few minutes.
Done and done, done and done. I launched my imprint, Vantage In-House Productions, with the seminal series called The Samaritan. I did it with my brother, Ren McKenzie, and the idea was a Black superhero that moves into a crime-ridden neighborhood, no costume, no code name, but starts to clean it up very systematically. And it's a commentary on what is our sense of responsibility to the world that we exist in. You know, there's a lot of times where, yes, there are oppressive forces, but there is power within us to advance our own positioning in spite of those oppressive forces. And we have to have that conversation too. It's not an either or, it is an and conversation that I try to push. So that is one of my favorite books. I followed that up with a series called Origins Unknown, where there was this beautiful short story called Points of Authority, where this young man finds out through, as does, a hidden heritage about himself. And he finds out that his grandfather was one of the first superheroes to ever exist, and it's a family secret. And he's like, well, why is this a family secret? That actually is explored in a follow-up series called Point of Authority Family Ties. The first one I did with Jacob Newell, the new one I'm doing with Adam Fields, in colors by Kevin Anthony DeCastro. And we're exploring the concept of Black families, male legacies. What is it like when somebody sets up something for, you that you may not want or you're not interested in as a family legacy? Like, how do we deal with that? It's big context. It's through a superhero lens because I love superheroes. It's my jam. But that's my thing. If you have little ones, we also have an all ages friendly title called Wonder Care Presents the Kinderguardians. It's Muppet Babies meets the Justice League. Wildly diverse group of kids that are learning to become the heroes of tomorrow by having adventures at school today. So range of things all over the place. So you're from all ages, teen, young adult to mature. I've got something for you to read.
How long have you been in the business?
So Vantage In-House started October 10th in 2010. So I've been celebrating full-time 13 years of self-publishing, full-on creative. Matter of fact, this coming October, when I hit 14 years, a third of my life will have been as a full-time comic book creator. And I can't even tell you how happy that concept makes me, because my 10-year-old self who fell in love with comics would be so proud of who I am today, because I am everything that dude thought I could be and more.
You're living your purpose.
Yes.
Most people don't know what it's like to live in purpose. And what you as, not just because most back then, all we know is white comic characters.
Yes.
And for you to go and transition, we didn't know that there was some Black comic book artists and authors then.
Facts. Big facts.
However, they was not put on the forefront. You didn't know that they did some of the writing to some of the comic books that we actually loved even then.
Yes.
But even now, you know them, you have become one. And now what you're doing is sharing your artistry, sharing your love, your passion with a bunch of young people who look like you and that don't look like you. But
Absolutely.
to me, it's mainly important that we show ourselves to those that look like us, because what it happens is they know one thing. They're creators.
Yes.
They know another thing, that their gift will make room for them and put them before great men. It ain't just hard work. Hard
Right.
work is one thing, but I know a bunch of people who work hard, I promise you, and their lives ain't purposeful.
Right.
They ain't being fulfilled. But you took the gift that God gave you at 10 years old. You've been drawing since you was 10 or before.
I really started drawing. I probably doodled a lot before that, but to have any sort of creative intentionality happened when I was about 10, boosted when I was 11, because again, comics changed everything for me. I was a kid that didn't like to read, but they announced on the news that Superman's going to die. And I'm like, I want to read that. I'm aware of pop culture, so I want to read that. And not only does the death of Superman bring me into comic books, but then we get characters like Steel, one of the first, new Black characters that I become aware of. And then we get the entrance into, Tribe from Todd Johnson and Larry Stroman. And like, it builds a presence. Like where we were in the early 90s was just perfect and right for me. And I also like found out through my family that like I had like uncles that could draw, and I didn't know this. Like, I'm like, we've known each other forever in my eyes, and I never knew you picked up a pencil. Like, what is that? They're like, oh yeah, we love comic books. Wait, what? And so the youngest of my uncles really encourages me and is like, look, we grew up in Ohio where nothing was happening artistically in the comic book world. You had to live in New York. And so they never got a chance to shoot their shot in comics because they weren't leaving the city. And they're like, you're going to be the one. You're going to be the one who figures it out. And where we were stationed and couldn't get out, we're going to find a way to get you seen by these people. And you're going to make these moves. The youngest of my uncles was a victim of violent crime when I was 11. And it was in honor of him, who, again, battery in my back, was like, you're going to figure this out. I decided at 11, I'm going to make something of myself in the comic book industry in honor of him, because he saw it in me back then. I'm going to live it for him now. And that's my Uncle Ben moment. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those things that it put me on a path, and I have been living in that purpose ever since. And that is one of the greatest gifts I was ever given, through pain, hardship. And you're absolutely right. There are people that can work hard that don't move in the right direction. We call that
Uncle Ben moment.
Yes, that was my Uncle Ben moment, and it literally changed everything for me. Opened up my eyes to what was possible. It actually started to showcase the concept of how I can see myself in characters that don't look like me, so that I can better get other people to see themselves in characters that don't look like them. When I say an Uncle Ben moment, and we have that association with Spider-Man, you got to understand this is way before Miles Morales was ever on the table. So like understanding things and having conversations with family members where it's like, when you hear that phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, that's the distillation of W.E.B. Du Bois, or Du Bois, depending on how you want to pronounce it, the talented 10th, that there is 10% of a population that can do something really well, that's great power, and they're responsible for using it in the service of the other 90. That's great responsibility. So they're like, yo, Spider-Man is a Black philosophy character. Like, that's what he is. And I'm like, bet. I can see that now. So how do I teach other people how to see themselves in characters that don't look like them, that might be, Black or female, like whatever. Like there's all kinds of things that is now my charge, my purpose to bring to other people.
Also, you said a lot, and I want to go back. You was talking about how you took your characters and in your books, and the superpower that their grandfather may have had, or whomever, one of their ancestors. What ended up happening is they ended up becoming, or wondering why ain't nobody used this power. It happened to you.
Right. Right.
You're just bringing forth your own story, but putting it in because they
Yes,
could
indeed.
draw.
Yes.
You didn't know that they could draw, but when you found out, it was an aha moment. But
Right.
then they said, "No, the gift wasn't for us. It was for
We were just
you.
holding it for you.
Look, for you to take this and now usher it forward because you're the one.
Hmm.
Many are
Hmm.
called, few are chosen. They, they
Well.
were called, however, the chosen was you.
Hmm.
They just had to be the keeper of the gift to
Yes.
pass it along for when you came, so then you could be here for today to show a lot of young Black content creators, a lot of comic book creators,
Hmm.
people who don't know that their talent was made for what it is.
Yes.
To let them know that, look, you're gifted. Yes, you're Black. You can even be white or any other color, but if you're Black, I need you to work on your gift. And
Yes.
what it's going to do in the future is it's going to project forward to the next human being in the future when you get old enough.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for that.
Thank
So,
you.
what I do want you to do
Hmm.
is tell them where they can find your comic books, where they can
Of course.
find you, and then give them a word of wisdom.
Of course. VantageInHouse.com is the home base where you can get everything that I do from my self-published comics. It'll also have links to You Create Comics, which is my brand of art supplies, as well as teaching program workshops that can be brought into schools, libraries, anywhere to encourage you to create your own comic book universe. It also has connections to my Geeking clothing line. And also, just as a quick shout out, I've taken Geeking that started off as a graphic t-shirt and hoodie line and started developing a line of shoes. They launched at the beginning of this year. In fact, I'm gonna be really weird. I'm gonna show you my shoes.
No, that ain't
But
weird.
at the
Man,
beginning
look,
of
we
this,
trying to get the product, the
of
merch out.
course, of course. At the beginning of the year, I launched a new website. It's through Printify, and we have a Instagram account. All Hail the Geek King, and you can definitely check out everything from there. But this is one of our shoe designs using the Crown and Specs, which is the same logo here. And for this project, in the first quarter of 2024, the goal is just to move 50 units of shoes. And by moving 50 units, what that will give me is a profit influx that I'm going to take 66% of that and dedicate that to buying shoes for kids come this coming school year. So not only are you investing in cool style and things like that, but you're investing in kids, making sure that they safely, securely, and stylistically get to go to school come the fall, because that's how we do things. We got to take care of ours as well as yours. That's what we do. Absolutely.
Word of wisdom.
Word of wisdom. Whatever it is that you aim to do not wait for tomorrow. Start today, do a little bit today, and do a little more tomorrow.
I want to thank you, Mr. Victor Dandridge, for being a part of this.
Thank you.
I'm working, I ain't trying. I'm working to get 29 authors where I get to showcase 29 Black authors.
Hey, I love it.
For 29 days during this month. But I'm
Yes.
going to continue it on even afterwards, but I'm only going to do 4 a month. But I want to thank you for being a part of this because it's important for our young men and women to see themselves in us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Art and Hustle. Black Authors Matter. He's Mr. Victor Dandridge. My name is Carlos Walker. And peace and blessings. We're Black Authors